What is up, Miami boys? You know who it is. Oh, hold on, let me take off my hood. Now I got to represent the U. Great win on Saturday, starting off. You know who it is. We're in year 3 of this is the Commish coming to you with the week 1 State of the League. If you're new to this channel, the way that we do things here, we discuss week 1 of the NFL season. We go week by week. We discuss that first. Then we get into the Miami Boyz Dynasty, where we discuss the results, the good and the bad of the week. Then we go into which we're not going to start. Let me first put that out there. We're not going to start the categories until next week. Week 1 was a wash. We don't really know. We know the Bengals aren't that bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to start next week. And, let me go through the categories again in case some of you forgot. We have 5 risers, 5 that are fading, falling fast. We have 5 rooks that cook, 5 rooks that are shook, dealing with rookies that are cooking and rookies that aren't doing so well. Teams that pissed off the fantasy gods, and they should be doing better than what they're doing, but they're doing bad because they pissed off the fantasy gods. Let me see. Teams that need a win to save their season. Still a little early for that, but there might be some teams that are 0-2 after next week. So I figure we will start it in week 2, and we will do it going forward as far as the categories. Make a trade and save your season. Already after week 1, some people might need to make a trade because some of you your skill players did not come through in week 1. So it's not going to be as serious as it is like say week 5, week 6, but you might need to make a trade and save your season. The award winning, you are who we thought you were. In honor of the late great Denny Green, we made that category, and that are teams that if you're bad, hey, you're bad, and we knew that you were bad. And then teams, if you're great and you're a stud team, hey, we knew that you were a stud team. So that is, you are who we thought you were. And the last but not least, one day soon to be Emmy award winning, Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen. And we always save that one for last because that's where we break down a team that was up there. And as we call it in the Miami Boyz Dynasty, we call it the bottom. The upside down, seen Stranger Things, the reference. So that are teams that, were supposed to be winning and doing their thing, but they have come down to the upside down and come down to the bottom with the other teams that are failing. So again, we will go over that starting next week. We will have those categories in. Like I said, week 1 was a wash, a lot of rain, a lot of weather. That I'm probably, this is the only tidbit, like if I find out about some injuries, I'll post it on the sleeper. I'll post it on the Miami Boys chat. But what I'm going to do is also tell you one little tidbit, and I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to say it again. Hold on. Ooh. Forgive me, my mouth's getting a little dry. I haven't done this in a while. It's been months. What I'm going to do is tell you this little nugget, and I'm going to leave it at that. Look at the weather. Look at the weather. I did not do that Sunday, and I didn't look at a lot of things. And although I was lucky to win, spoiler alert, I could have done some better things if I would have known that the weather was going to be raining all across the NFL week 1. So reminder to self, look at the weather before the 1 o'clock games. Look at the weather again before the 4 o'clock, 4:25 games. Having said that, let's jump into week 1. Let's see here. All right, let's go into week one. All right, as we saw on Thursday night, you had the Lions upset the Chiefs due to Kadarius Toney having no hands. Let me say this. Uh, I don't know. We all know that Travis Kelce was out. We all know that Travis Kelce is the wide receiver slash tight end one on that team. But those of you who know me personally know that I have a heavy, heavy disdain for two people. And one of them is Matt Nagy, who is now the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, now that Eric Bieniemy has gone over to DC. And the second one is Arthur Smith, and I will speak on him in a little bit. To start this game, I didn't even remember that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was on this team. But having Clyde Edwards-Helaire start the game, rush the ball, the Chiefs were all out of whack. They were all out of whack, and to top it all off, the icing on the cake, Kadarius Toney having butterfingers. I wish I could insert the butterfinger meme here with the guy with the butter on his hands, which allowed the Lions to get the go-ahead interception, which put them over in this game 21-20. Lions look good. Kind of tossed me up the way that they used Montgomery more than Gibbs, but maybe they're bringing Gibbs along slowly. But in other words, the Lions are cooking on all cylinders. I'm a Ross St. Brown cooking. And they look pretty much good to go. Kudos on the win for the Lions. I think that my early prediction, I think that they make the playoffs this year. Kansas City, you can never count them out. They said they were going to be out of it when Tyreek was gone. They went to the Super Bowl. So I don't count them out. One loss doesn't matter for this team. I expect them to be in the thick of things in December, January. Second game. And going back to the second person that I can't stand, look here. Look at me. Arthur Smith. You have an Escalade V. Like just twin turbo, twin horsepower, V8, 675 horsepower, and you don't use it. I don't understand that. Then you have a Mercedes in the Escalade V I'm referring to is Bijan Robinson. Then you have a Mercedes S63 in the garage, G-Wagon in Kyle Pitts that you use as predominant, which I don't care about. I can care less about Kyle Pitts. He's a bust. But you don't utilize him, but you make him a right tackle. Don't understand that. Then you have Drake London, who is anyway, you have Drake London that is a Ferrari SF90, and you have three cars and you don't know how to use them. And then you go back to your favorite car, which is Tyler Algier, which is just a regular Dodge Charger. And you love that car. You won't drive the other expensive cars, but you'll drive the Dodge Charger. In other words, I don't know what you're doing. I can't figure out your offense. You're lucky you're playing a rookie against the Panthers in this game, and you guys got the win 24-10. But Tyler Algier outsnapped Bijan Robinson. You primarily used Bijan as a slot receiver. You didn't throw to Drake London. You threw to Kyle Pitts twice. Desmond Ridder looks horrible. I really like it's so bad that I'm starting Tyler Algier over Bijan Robinson this week. I can't stand you. I have a disdain for you. And it just sucks because these players are good. You just don't know how to use them. Bryce Young looked okay in this game. We all know that he's going to struggle. He doesn't have much to work with. Miles Sanders looked okay. But it's going to be a long season for the Panthers, especially with Brian Burns holding out on defense for a new contract. We'll see how long that lasts. And on top of that, they just lost J.C. Horn for the foreseeable future with a hamstring. The hamstrings are coming out, and we'll get to the Achilles later. Next up, I don't know what this was, That's why I said I'm not going to start the categories until next week. One of the reasons was because of this game. I believe that this game was a fluke. The Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. The Browns defense looked dominant. Deshaun Watson looked horrible, although he did just enough for them to win. Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb. Great. The only back on Sunday that didn't split carries with anybody, unless he came out for a breather, but I don't count that. So if you have Nick Chubb, kudos to you. The Bengals look absolutely atrocious. They look like, of course, with Joe Burrow's injury, that they didn't practice and don't have any timing over the, unlike Tua and the Dolphins, they look like they have no timing with their receivers. T. Higgins caught nothing. Jamar Chase caught like 1 or 2 balls. I didn't even hear Tyler Boyd's name mentioned. I'm going to chalk it up to the weather. It was disgusting. It was a mini hurricane, and it was disgusting that, like how it always is in Cleveland, that's why it has leave in Cleveland, because you want to leave, because the weather is always horrible, and I just chalk this up as a wash. I chalk it up as a wash. I know the Bengals will be great, and that's why, again, I said I'm not starting the categories until next week, because this was a wash. Jags versus the Colts. Anthony Richardson, you got to learn how to slide, buddy. Jags beat Colts 31-21. Anthony Richardson looked good in his debut. Doesn't have much to work with because, of course, the boneheaded owner wants to have a tussle with his best player and doesn't want to pay his best player. And the worst thing that you can do to a rookie quarterback is not have a viable running game, especially for a running quarterback. So it was easy for the Jags to key in on Anthony Richardson. He fought and he did a lot of good things that I liked, but it wasn't enough. As Trevor Lawrence and the boys were clicking, again, like I said, when they made it clear that they were going after Calvin Ridley and they got Calvin Ridley, I knew that he would be the go-to guy. But in the end of the day, and this is for fantasy, it's only one football. Who are you going to throw it to? I didn't hear Christian Kirk's name once on Sunday. I heard Evan Ingram, but it was Ridley. Him and Trevor Lawrence have built a rapport. You can tell they've been working together over the summer, and he looks fresh off of 2 years off of football. He looked good. Travis Etienne split time, but Travis Etienne did his thing as well. Trevor Lawrence did his thing. The Jags are rolling on all cylinders. This one shocked me. The Bucks with Baker Mayfield, they beat the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, multiple turnovers, multiple fumbles, 1 INT. The Bucks looked good, and they did enough, just enough. Like, I don't expect them to be great, but they did just enough. And Baker did just enough as a game manager for them to beat the Vikings. They shut down JJ. What I mean by shut down, they shut him down in like the second half. He was cooking in the first half. He finished with 9 for 150, but they shut him down in the second half, and they were able to pull out the win because, of course, the Vikings defense is suspect, and they can't stop anybody. So a Bucs team with Baker Mayfield that shouldn't have won this game ended up winning this game. Next up, Titans versus the Saints. This one was another ugly one. This was a very slow-paced. Saints win 16-15 off of some field goals, but absolutely atrocious from Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill looked like it was his first game in the NFL right out of high school or something like that. Chiggy Okonkwo was open for a 60-yard bomb, overthrows him. Couldn't hit and connect with DeAndre Hopkins until the second half. I think DeAndre Hopkins had a couple of catches, but ugly game. It's going to be a long season for Tennessee. Derek Carr and the Saints trying to get their feet under them. So I expect more points than 16 going forward. Chris Olave had 8 receptions, 112 yards. He is clearly the guy. But I need more points. I need more points from the Saints. They're too good to be putting up 16 points. And that defense is playing too good and keeping them in games for them to only put up 16 points. I look for them to get better going forward. Somebody who doesn't need to get better going forward, the 49ers. The 49ers won 30-7 over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I'm going to chalk that up to the 49ers being one of the best defenses. I know Kenny Two Gloves isn't that bad. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't that bad. And when you're getting your socks blown off, you can't even run Najee Davenport. You can't even rush the ball. Brandon Ayuk looked like new money. Hate that I traded that guy away, but he looked like money. He did whatever he wanted. CMC is CMC. Glock Purdy, guns out. Glock Purdy is Glock Purdy. Didn't even look like he had elbow surgery. He was clicking on all cylinders. 49ers defense with getting that racist Nick Bosa back, clicking on all cylinders. My Super Bowl favorite right now, 49ers win 30-7, and they don't even break a sweat doing it. This one was what you call a trap game that should have been a blowout, but they almost lost it. The Washington Commanders win 20-16 over the Cardinals. Granted, I give the Cardinals kudos because they fought. They fought until the end. They just have a horrible offense. They couldn't do anything. They lose this game 20-16. I'm going to chalk this up to week 1. Still in an Eric Bieniemy system. So I'm going to chalk it up to that. But the Commanders got to look better than that. You got to get better and look better than that. You can't almost choke to the Cardinals, as we know, a team that is visibly tanking. Unacceptable, Washington. Unacceptable. And then my second unacceptable game, the Ravens versus the Texans. Texans roll out C.J. Stroud, brand new offense. We know the Texans' defense is pretty good. They got Lamar Jackson to turn it over multiple times. Lamar looked absolutely atrocious. I don't know if you haven't been practicing with your people. I'm going to chalk it up to the rain in Baltimore. But they win 25-9. I'll even chalk it up to no Mark Andrews. But you got it. You cannot make any excuses. You have weapons at your disposal. Zay Flowers, OBJ. You're getting Mark Andrews back this week. There's no excuse for you to look like crap, Lamar. There's no excuse. I want to take a timeout and have a moment of silence for J.K. Dobbins. I think his career is over. Multiple knee injuries and now the Achilles. I feel for the brother, man. J.K. Dobbins, get well soon. Prayers up for you, man. That's just I know that you fought your way back, man, and to just come out and to the Achilles, man. The Achilles got 2 people on Sunday. A lot of players are blaming it on the turf. The head of the NFLPA just put out today a initiation for all stadiums to be grass. Thank God my Dolphins. Thank you, Stephen Ross. Thank God my Dolphins play on grass. But let me know your thoughts. If you think it's the turf or what. I think it is. It got OBJ. I heard that your cleats get stuck in it. You can't do anything. I think that everybody should be playing on grass, and that's my 2 cents, and I'm sticking with it. But let's keep it rolling. A team that highly, highly surprised me and a team that highly disappointed me was in this matchup. The Chicago Bears were supposed to be new and improved with DJ Moore, everything like that. Justin Fields was supposed to be getting better, so much better that I traded for him. And you get blown out by a quarterback that's been sitting the bench for the last 3 years and was missing his best wide receiver. So shout outs to Jordan Love. Shout outs to Cheesehead. Packers win 38-20. Justin Fields looked absolutely horrible. The Bears looked horrible. They had no timing. DJ Moore looked horrible. The only person that looked decent was Darnell Mooney. The Bears quit on this game. Packers and Romeo Doubs. Aaron Jones and the tight end looked absolutely unbelievable. And Jordan Love put up the most, did his thing in this game. So let's see what happens. Again, it's week 1. We're not waving any flags, and Packers aren't going to the playoffs. But I'm very interested to see what the Packers do going forward. The Raiders beat the Broncos 17-16. This one was a stinker. Javonte Williams came back at 52 yards. I'm glad that he finally came back. Jimmy G looked decent in this one. Jacoby Myers that was scary. He was killing it this game, but then he got the Tua treatment when he got his block knocked off. Hope that he's all right. Hope that he's ready to go because he was on a good pace. Russell Wilson lost Greg Dulcich, and it showed. He was already out of Jerry Jeudy. He already was out with Jerry Jeudy, so they already lost Tim Patrick. They already cut KJ Hamler. Not enough weapons to let Russ cook. Let's see. Sean Payton was talking a lot of bleep in the offseason. Now you either have to pay the piper and pay the football gods, or you're going to try to do something with this team, or it's going to be a very long season. Eagles barely beat the Patriots 25-20, and again, chalking it up to the weather. Another bad weather game, 25-20. A lot of running in this game. Patriots hung around, but the Eagles put them away. 25-20. Eagles defense comes up with the pick six on Mac Jones. I think that was the killer that did it. Eagles, again, chalking it up to the weather. I know this team. This team went to the Super Bowl. This team is better than that. And they should have blown out the Patriots. Had it been like a sunny day or a decent weather day, I think they would have blown out the Patriots. Next up, Dolphins, Chargers. This was the game of the week right here. Dolphins win 36-34 on what was an absolute I expect, again, week one, expect the Dolphins defense to play better, but this was an absolute shootout. And I am proud of Tua. I'm proud of Himothy, the left arm of God. Michael Lee McDaniels, our coach. They did Tyreek Hill. Defenses, don't play zone. If you're going to try to play man, you can try to get a little bump or something in that 5 yards, but if the Dolphins keep playing like this, Super Bowl. And if Vic Fangio can get the defense to play better like they did in the fourth quarter, and we get Jalen Ramsey back, Super Bowl. You heard it here first. Chargers, very good team. They fought until the end. Our defense just came up with the big plays. Kudos to the offensive line. The offensive line, Tua, was not sacked. All he did, the only mistake he had, he tried to force a ball in there and got it intercepted. Austin Eckler gets hurt in this one, so we'll see how the Chargers do. They're already 0-1, but let's see. It's only week one. The Rams, surprise of the week. The Rams and Puka Nacua. There's only two people that knew that name coming out of BYU. That was myself, and that was the Commish J-Rod, who got him before I could get him. The Rams and Puka Nacua win in an upset over the Seahawks, 30-13. The Rams are supposed to be one of those teams that were starting over, but they did everything that they had to do. Puka Nacua over 100 yards. Tutu Atwell, who I think weighs 100 pounds, wet and wearing boots, 119 yards. Kieran Williams, multiple touchdowns. The Seahawks defense should be embarrassed, utterly embarrassing that you got blown out by the Rams like this. The next team that should be utterly embarrassed, the Giants. The Giants got steamrolled from the first play of the game by the Cowboys, 40-0. Saquon looked like he quit. The Giants quit. The Giants pulled their starters. The offense didn't have to do much. Tony Pollard had 2 TDs. And we'll see how Dallas does against the sucky Jets, who I'm going to talk about next week. And finally, the final game of week one, the overtime thriller that was decided by a kickback that should have been called for a tripping, but that's neither here nor there because the Zebras, they are blind when they want to be. The Bills lost to the Jets 22-16, which the Bills should have won this game, but their meat-headed quarterback, Josh Allen, threw 3 interceptions and fumbled the ball for a total of 4 turnovers. Zach Wilson didn't look much better. And why is Zach Wilson in the game, you say? is because old man Aaron Rodgers in 4 plays, 75 seconds. I wish it would have been 60. It would have been so nice to say gone in 60 seconds. But 75 seconds tore his Achilles. Here at Miami Boys ENT, we wish you a speedy recovery, Aaron, and hope you get better and come back next year. Or if you decide to hang him up, we understand that too. But the Jets, I think that they're going to, after getting this win, their defense will keep them in games. But other than that, I expect them to totally and utterly get massacred every game, starting next week with the Cowboys. That is your recap of week 1. Now we take it over to Miami Boyz Dynasty again. If you're getting to the video late, we will have the categories coming back next week. So look forward to that. Let us get to the week. Let's get to the week 1 results. Starting off with myself. Let's see here. Oh yeah. And I got my first win. Woo! In a very long time. I upset Goggles, who lost. Who was that person? He was that team that lost Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not going to just say I blew him out. But I win 204.28. Goggles loses 130.84. And the face of the Miami Boyz Dynasty, don't feel bad for him. He can now throw in Anthony Richardson, and you can start him sooner rather than later because you lost Aaron Rodgers. So let's see how that goes, or let's see if the people's champ becomes the people's chump. Moving on. The game of the week was Chino, a.k.a. Calvin and Dobbs, versus the Canes Cartel. As we all know, Canes gang was brokenhearted after leading the league in points and stuff like that, and he ended up losing the points to George. But we knew that his team was coming in stacked, but the Canes Cartel's quarterbacks let him down. So let's go ahead and do something for. We're gonna go ahead and do something for Desmond Ridder, and we're going to do something for Ryan Tannehill. That was Desmond Ridder, and this is for Ryan Tannehill. You might have to make a trade for a quarterback or hope that Mac Jones throws for 300 yards every week, sir. But you need some quarterback help, and I don't need to wait till next week to say it. Chino, you bet on yourself. You made the trades that you needed to make, and you are out fast and furious, steamrolling motherfuckers. 346 points, 0.14. Canes gang loses 206, but did have the most points in a loss. I will get to that later on the weekly report. I just wanted to make Canes gang feel good right there. But everybody would have lost to Chino. So Chino, congrats. You are the first of the week for the 2023 season, week 1. Next game, you have the champ. Oh, God damn it. Come on. Stop moving. You have the champ, Lego Cuz. Jesus Christ. All right. He beats Future in a rematch of the championship game from last year, which was the runner-up game of the week, 262.23 to 184.78. Future got nothing from Joe Burrow. We all chalk it up to the weather. He lost Evan Hull in the process to, was it a knee or a hamstring? Dalvin Cook did something, but not enough. Justin Jefferson Gave you a little, but not a lot. But I don't know. You might have to trade for a running back, sir. You might have to trade for a running back. All day clicking on all cylinders with Tyreek Hill, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, and the boys. I expect him to be up there again this year. Keep doing your thing. And hold on. Next up, you had Mikey versus Teddy. Teddy had Garrett Wilson. Teddy had DJ Moore. Teddy looked good. Teddy scored 237.54 and beats Money Mike. You might need to change that name from Money Mike to something else, Mikey, because you only got 114.03. We'll chalk it up to week 1, but Lamar and Danny Dimes, they got to play better. They got to play better, man. Saquon, we'll chalk it up to the blowout. DeAndre Swift, he's going to be the man now since the other running back got hurt. Hopefully you can bounce back. I expected more from your team, but unfortunately the 114.03 makes you the first doormat of the week for Miami Boys Year 3, 2023. So there's that. And the last game of the week, Los Jacobs Raiders versus Cheesehead. Cheesehead wins 275.98, and Los Jacobs Raiders gets 166.11 and loses J.K. Dobbins. Hold on. Let me just go through people that you lost. You lost J.K. Dobbins. You lost Deontay Johnson, Darren Waller, Samaje Perine, Evan Ingram, Odell Beckham, Geno Smith. Rashad Penny, Keyshawn Vaughn, DJ Shark, Greg Dulcich. You lost 6 players. For anybody watching this video, let that be a lesson to you. Don't be a troll. Don't talk too early. Fantasy gods don't like that. Fantasy gods took 6 players. 6 players. Thank God that you made some trades and you have the backups and you're smart enough to get the backups and get some people on the bench, because you lost 6 players in 1 week. 6 in 1 week. If nobody believes the fantasy gods are real, let Los Jacobs Hennessy, Boston Henny, Poppy Henny, let that be a lesson to you, because all 6 of those motherfuckers are in Southwest Regional for the foreseeable future. Good luck. Good luck, because you were that close to being doormat. Let's get into week 2, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the weekly report. In week 2, you have the game of the week. You have Axe Capital versus the Canes Gang. Axe Capital versus Canes Gang. Canes Gang once a juggernaut. And you have Axe Capital, little tiny Axe Capital, trying to grind out of the bottom. This is the game of the week, the Gonzalez game of the week. You have Legoat Cuz versus the quote-unquote face of the MBD. Co-game of the week here, as the champ aims to quiet Goggles, who claims and wants to be that champ again, but he's got to climb up, and let's see if he can beat the real champ. Because right now, he's the people's champ, but the GOAT is the real champ. That is my co-game of the week. Next up, we have, golly, oh man, Mikey. It's a good thing you're on vacation, relaxing yourself and stuff like that, because you get the pleasure in week 2 of playing Chino, Mr. Calvin and Dobbs and his juggernaut squad. I know coming off of a week 1 doormat, you don't want to be it again. Hopefully your team puts up some points and gives a David versus Goliath type effort versus Chino, because Chino's coming. He's storming through the league right now. Cheesehead versus Future. Cheesehead versus Future. This should be a good one. Hopefully, there's no weather issues. Cheesehead versus Future, but Future is down some players. Hopefully, he's able to recover. And then on top of that, you have Dalvin Cook this week against the Dallas Cowboys. I am not starting any Jets versus the Cowboys. That's just me. And then you have whatever Los Jacobs Raiders or whatever his name is, Boston Henny. He always changes his name. I hate that. Versus Teddy, man, how's the baby doing, man? Need you get more vocal. Holla at me. The season started, man. Let's go. We done left you alone. I done left you alone to play Hitman, Madden, all that stuff. I know 2K and stuff going on now, but let's get at it. Let's get at it. Good win. So you have Teddy versus Henny. On top of that, let me give you my predictions really quick. I have Teddy beating Henny, because Henny again lost 6 players. We don't know how those replacements are going to do. Cheesehead taking out Future. You have Chino's a juggernaut right now. Mikey, I don't know. Let's see if you can pull the upset, but I got Chino over Mikey. I have the champ over the people's champ, and I have myself over Kane's gang in the upset for week 2. Let's see what happens. Those are just my thoughts. Don't take it to heart. Don't take it personal. That's just my opinion. I am doing a show, and I'm trying to give you content. All right, let us go through the weekly review. Stud of the week, Chino, 346.14 out of a possible 375.08 fantasy points. Hell of a job. You are the stud of the week. Mikey, doormat of the week, 114.03 points, but it said that you could have put up 224.67. So that should give you a little bit of life to your squad. That means you got players. Just need to start the right lineup. Biggest blowout was Chino over Kane's gang. He won by 67% at 346.14 over 206.19. Narrowest victory was myself. I am the little train that could. I took out 204.28 over Goggles, who got 130.84. Won by 56%. Overachiever was Sean with 346.14. Below expectation was Mike with 114.03. It said that you missed the projection of 282 points. So you got players, man. You just need to set the right lineup. Quarterback of the week. Let's hold on, because he's my hero. Where is it? Tua Tagovailoa, who scored 73.22 points, the first of many. Running back of the week, Christian McCaffrey, CMC, scored 78.40 points. Wide receiver of the week, Cheetah, 80 points. Damn, he scored more than my quarterback. 80.40 points. Tight end of the week, Chino, with TJ Hawkinson with 26.2 points. As you can see a trend here, Chino had the running back and tight end of the week, which is why he's stud of the week. Quarterback bench warmer of the week for Kane's gang, you had Mac Jones with 50.5 points on the bench. Bench warmer of the week. Thank you, Arthur Smith. thank God I traded for him. Tyler Algiers with 37.5. Tyler Algiers will start with Bijan Robinson this week. You heard it here first. Bench warmer of the week. I've already talked to the commish, and he said that he will no longer sit the bench. Puka Nacua with 41.5 points. He will no longer sit the bench for the commish. Tight end bench warmer of the week. Money Mike with Hunter Henry with 27.7 points on the bench. Again, there you have it. Small sample size. Next week will be a bigger show. I have to get the Miami Boys flag out of storage. I have to get the Miami Boys flag out of storage. So I can set up the back of me. So excuse the background for right now, but we'll deal with that and have a better show for you next week. Again, there you have it. We'll come back to the categories next week. We'll address everything next week, and we will get the show in on Tuesday, not Wednesday, as IT was fixing my computer. So there you have it. Week 1, Miami Boys NFL season. Good luck to everyone not playing me. Be safe out there, and I will see you again next week. This is a Commish, and I'm out.